Hello, my name is Leon. Welcome to another reading of the Elder Scrolls. Today we're going to be reading the Armor's Challenge by Mephonis. I feel like we've read a book by that person recently. Am I crazy? I might be crazy. I really do feel like we read a book. No? I'm crazy. I really do feel like we've read a book by this person. Well, you probably haven't. Okay. You can stop now. Stop screwing up the beginning of book ratings. I'm sorry. Back. The Armor's Challenge. Yes. 300 years ago, when Katura became Empress, the first and only Dunmer to rule all of Tamriel, she faced opposition from the Imperial Council. Even after she convinced them that she would be the best regent to rule the empire, while her husband, Pelagius, sought treatment for his madness, there was still conflict. In particular, from the Duke of Viceto, Thane Miglumna. Is that the same person? I think those are two different people. Maybe? Really not sure. Who took a particular delight in exposing all of the Empress's lack of practical knowledge. I think it's two different. I think it's the same person. It's like a different title for the same person. Sure. In this particular instance, Katura and the Council were discussing the unrest in Black Marsh and the massacre of Imperial troops outside the village of Atamanus. The sodden swampland and the sweltering climate, particularly in summertime, would endanger the troops if they wore their usual armor. I know a very clever armorer, said Katura. His name is Hazvia, an Argonian who knows the environments our army will be facing. I knew him in Vivek when he was a slave to the master armorer there, before he moved to the Imperial City as a freedman. We should have him design armor and weaponry for the campaign. Miglima gave a short barking laugh. She wants a slave to design the armor and weaponry for our troops. Succus is the finest armor in the Imperial City. Everyone knows that. After much debate, it was finally decided to have both armors contend for the commission. I've definitely read this book, but I don't think I've done any actual book reading of it. But I do remember this book. I do remember the story. The council also elected two champions of equal power and prowess. Nandor Barad, it reminds me of What We Do in the Shadows, the American show, and Raphaelus to battle using the arms and armaments of the real competitors in the struggle. Whichever champion won, the armorer who supplied him would earn the Imperial Commission. It was decided that Barad would be outfitted by Hazar and Ild by Sacras. No, wait, it's not just a battle, right? It's also going to be related to Black Marsh, I assume. I'm sure there's something in there. Sure. Anyway, the fight was scheduled to commence in 7 days. Senator Sacras began work immediately. He's the Imperial guy, right? Yes. He would have preferred more time, but he recognized the nature of the test. The situation in Atamaris was urgent. The Empire had to select their armorer quickly, and once selected, the preferred armorer had to act swiftly and produce the finest armor and weaponry for the Imperial army in Blackmarsh. It wasn't just the best armor they were looking for, it was the most efficient. Sacras had only begun steaming the half-inch strips of black virgin oak to bend into bands. Oh, is that what you do? Steam it? You don't fire it, obviously. That makes sense. Sorry. Into bands for the flanges of the armor joints. When there was a knock at his door, his assistant, Philibus, ushered in the visitor. It was a tall reptilian of common markings, a dull green fringed hood, bright black eyes, and a dull brown cloak. It was Hazar. Hazda. Katura's preferred armor, I should say. I wanted to wish you the best of luck in the... Is that Ebony? It was indeed. Sakis had brought the finest quality ebony weave available in the Imperial City as soon as he heard of the competition, and had begun the process of smelting it. Normally, it was a 6-month procedure, refining the ore, but he hoped that a massive convection oven, stoked by white flames born of magicka, would shorten the operation to 3 days. Sakis proudly pointed out the other advancements in his armory. The acidic lime pools to shapen the blade of the daikatana to an unimaginable degree of sharpness. The Akavari forge and tongs he would use to fold the ebony back and forth upon itself. Like a Japanese sword, yes. Hasdale laughed. Have you been to my armory? It's 2 tiny smoke-filled rooms. The front is a shop. The back is filled with broken armor, some hammers and a forge. That's it. That's your competition for the millions of gold pieces in Imperial Commission. I'm sure the Empress had some reason to trust you to outfit her troops, said Sakis kindly. He had, after all, seen the shop and knew that what Hasdal said was true. It was a pathetic workshop in the slums, fit only for the lowest of adventurers to get their iron daggers and cuirasses repaired. Sakis had decided to make the best quality regardless of the inferiority of his rival. It was his way and how he became the best armorer in the Imperial City. Out of kindness... Wait, hold on a second. What's up? Okay, cool. Just checking my revised schedule for tomorrow's work. Where was I? Out of kindness and more than a bit of pride, Sakis showed Hasda how, by contrast, things should be done in a real professional army. Why would you do this? It's a competition, dumbass. This is the tortoise and the hare story, isn't it? But instead of it being like speed, it's more about like pride. Well, that's what the tortoise and the hare story is all about. True, that's true. So what was I? The Argonian acted as an apprentice to Sakis, helping him refine the ebony ore and to pound it and fold it when it cooled. What's the bet that like the Argonians already made the armor, and he's just here to be a joke, be a douchebag, or like to see what his competition's like. But he's already made like some kind of not ebony, like a leather armor or something like that, because it has to breathe or something. Because if you wear like ebony, you'll like sink to the marsh or whatever. I say that thinking that I'm going to be really smart because I predicted the story, but pretty sure I've already read this book, so I've kind of spoiled it for myself. But that was a long time ago, so either way. Helping him find out independent. Over the next several days, Jesus, they worked together to create a beautiful daikatana with an edge honed sharp enough to trim a mosquito's eyebrows. Mosquitoes don't have eyebrows, but whatever. It shaded with flames along its length by one of the Imperial battle mages, as well as a suit of armor of bound wood, leather, silver, and ebony to resist the winds of oblivion. Okay. On the day of the battle, Sakis, Hasdar, and Philandus. Who's that guy? Who's Philandus? That is Sakis' apprentice, or whatever. Oh, okay. Finished polishing the armor and brought in Rafis Il for the fitting. Hasdar left only then, realizing that Nandor Brown would be at his shop shortly to be outfitted. The two warriors met before the Empress and Imperial Council in the arena, which had been flooded slightly to stimulate the swampy conditions of Black Marsh. From the moment Sakis saw Ul in his suit of heavy ebony and blazing daikatana, and Beryl in his collection of dusty, rusted lizard scales and spear from Hasdar's shop, he knew who would win, and he was right. He knew that he would lose. That's the spoiler. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, the first blow from the daikatana lodged in Barad's soft shield. Oh. As there was no metal trim to deflect it. Before Ild could pull his sword back, Barad let go of the now flaming shield, still stuck on the sword, and poked at the joints of Ul's ebony armor with his spear. Ul finally retrieved his sword from the ruined shield and slashed at Barad, but his light armor was scaled and angled, and the attacks rolled off into the water, extinguishing the Daikatana's flames. When Barad struck at Ul's feet, he fell into the churned mud and was unable to move. The Empress, out of mercy, called a victor. Hasdeo received the commission, and thanks to his knowledge of Argonian battle tactics and weaponry and how to best combat them, he designed implements of war that brought down the insurrection in Atamaris. Catriel won the respect of council and even, grudgingly, that of Thane Miglugu. Soronisakis went to Morrowind to learn what Hasdeo learned there, and was never heard of again. Oh, he died? Jesus, that's rough. Poor Sakis. Yeah. You got taught a lesson of humility, and then he died. Well, that was the Armor's Challenge by Morpheus. But for now, this has been a reading of the Elder Scrolls. My name is Leo, and I will see you next time.